If your ex comes crawling back with promises they've changed but they're still doing these three things, you're about to walk straight back into emotional quicksand. I know you want to believe they're different this time. I know you're holding on to that tiny spark of hope that maybe, just maybe, they finally understand what they lost. But here's what nobody tells you about avoidant people who come back, and why ignoring these red flags will cost you months or even years of your life. When someone with avoidant attachment comes back into your life, it feels like the universe is giving you a second chance. They might seem more open, more willing to talk, maybe even admitting they made mistakes. Your heart starts racing because finally, they're acknowledging what you went through. But here's the thing about avoidant people. They're masters at reading emotional situations. They know exactly what to say to get you back without actually changing the core behaviors that drove you apart in the first place. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a house with a cracked foundation. So here are the red flags that tell you they haven't actually changed, and why you need to protect yourself from falling back into the same painful cycle. Red flag number 1. They still can't handle your emotions. Picture this scenario. You're having a rough day, and you reach out to them for comfort. Instead of being present with you, they immediately try to fix the problem, change the subject, or worse, they disappear entirely until you're feeling better. This is the biggest tell that nothing has actually changed. Avoidant people are terrified of emotional intensity, even positive emotions. If they still can't sit with you when you're upset, anxious, or even just excited about something, they haven't done the inner work. Real emotional availability looks like someone who can stay present when things get messy. They don't run away when you cry. They don't minimize your feelings by saying things like, "You're being too sensitive," or "It's not that big of a deal." They certainly don't punish you with silence when you express a need. Here's what changed emotional availability actually looks like. They listen without trying to immediately solve everything. They validate your feelings even when they don't fully understand them. They stay engaged in the conversation instead of shutting down or getting defensive. If your avoidant ex still treats your emotions like they're inconvenient or overwhelming, they're telling you exactly who they still are. Believe them. Red flag number 2. They keep you at arm's length. Even though they came back, notice how they structure your interactions. Are they only available on their terms? Do they still have mysterious boundaries around their time, their space, their feelings? Avoidant people are experts at creating the illusion of closeness while maintaining emotional distance. They might text you constantly but avoid phone calls. They'll hang out but won't introduce you to their friends or family again. They're affectionate in private but distant in public. This controlled intimacy is their safety net. They want the benefits of having you in their life without the vulnerability that comes with true emotional intimacy. It's like they're keeping one foot out the door at all times, ready to bolt the moment things feel too real. True change means they're willing to be uncomfortable sometimes. They're willing to let you into their world completely, not just the sanitized version they're comfortable showing. They include you in their life in a way that feels integrated, not compartmentalized. If they're still treating the relationship like it has an expiration date, or keeping parts of their life completely separate from you, they haven't actually changed their core attachment patterns. Red flag number 3. They still won't take responsibility. This one is subtle but crucial. Pay attention to how they talk about what happened between you. Do they take full ownership of their patterns, or do they still make it sound like it was just a communication issue or bad timing? Statements like, "We both made mistakes," or "Maybe we just weren't right for each other back then," are massive red flags. While relationships do involve two people, avoidant patterns are specifically about one person's inability to show up emotionally. If they can't name their specific behaviors and take accountability for how those behaviors affected you, they haven't actually faced their issues. Real accountability sounds like this. "I know I shut down every time you tried to talk about our future together. I know I made you feel like your needs didn't matter. I know I hurt you by pulling away whenever things felt serious." Notice the difference? They're not making excuses or spreading the blame around. They're specifically acknowledging their avoidant behaviors and the impact those behaviors had on you. Research from attachment theory shows that people can heal from insecure attachment, but it requires them to first recognize and acknowledge their patterns. If they can't even do that, They're nowhere near ready for a healthy relationship. Understanding why avoidant people come back helps you see the situation more clearly. It's rarely because they've suddenly become emotionally available. Usually it's because their avoidance strategy stopped working for them. Maybe they realized they can't find anyone else who understood them like you did. Maybe they're lonely and remember how good you made them feel about themselves. Maybe they miss the stability you provided while they got to keep their emotional freedom. Here's the hard truth. They often come back, not because they want a real relationship with you, but because they want the version of you that required nothing from them emotionally. They want the you who was patient, understanding, and willing to accept crumbs of affection. This is why the same patterns repeat. They're not coming back to build something new. They're coming back to recreate the same dynamic where they get to stay safe behind their walls while you do all the emotional heavy lifting. If someone with avoidant attachment has genuinely done the work, you'll see specific, concrete changes in their behavior. They'll be able to talk about their feelings without shutting down. They'll initiate difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. They'll be consistent in their communication and follow through on their commitments. Most importantly, they'll have developed the ability to tolerate discomfort in relationships. They won't run away when things get challenging or when you need them to show up emotionally. Real change also means they've likely gotten professional help. Avoidant attachment patterns are deeply rooted and usually require therapy to address effectively. If they haven't done any therapeutic work and just expect time apart to have magically fixed everything, that's a major red flag. Every time you take back someone who hasn't actually changed, you're training yourself to accept less and less in relationships. You're teaching your nervous system that love means anxiety, uncertainty, and walking on eggshells. The opportunity cost is enormous. While you're trying to fix something that fundamentally isn't working, you're missing out on relationships with people who are actually capable of showing up for you consistently. Your time, energy, and emotional capacity are precious resources. Don't waste them on someone who's already shown you they're not willing to do the work required for a healthy relationship. If you're dealing with an avoidant ex who wants to come back, set clear boundaries around what real change looks like. Don't accept vague promises or surface-level improvements. Look for consistent behavioral changes over time, not just nice words. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Your nervous system remembers how they made you feel, even when your logical mind wants to give them the benefit of the doubt. Remember that you deserve someone who chooses you every day, not just when it's convenient for them. You deserve someone who sees your emotional needs as important, not as problems to be managed or avoided. Love isn't supposed to feel like you're constantly chasing someone who's running away. Real love feels secure, consistent, and safe. If someone with avoidant attachment wants back into your life, they need to prove they've changed through their actions, not just their words. Don't mistake their return for proof that you were meant to be together. Sometimes people come back simply because you were willing to accept behavior that others wouldn't tolerate. You've already invested so much in trying to make it work with someone who couldn't meet you halfway. Don't invest more time in someone who's still showing you the same patterns that hurt you before. Your future self will thank you for having the courage to say no to recycled pain, disguised as second chances. If this helped you understand your situation better, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you next time.